Hello my dear friends, you're on the Military Summary channel and today we will discuss the situation in Ukraine on the 19th of April. Today we got a lot of very interesting news, so let's discuss them one by one. But before we start, I would like to share with you my opinion. This week I decided to follow this situation from the point of view of Agile. And according to Agile, we can say that Russians, they started their first sprint. So now we need to determine what is the main target of this sprint and how long this sprint is going to be. And as far as I understand, this first Russian sprint of this Donbass arc operation will be held around a week. So this is a very short sprint. And I'll explain you why. So that's why they need to achieve first results by the end of this week. And we will discuss what kind of result they are planning to achieve during this first sprint, which will be ended by the end of this week. Why this sprint will be ended by the end of this week? I'll explain to you. Russia is the Orthodox country. As Ukraine and Belarus in this region, Orthodox religion is the biggest religion in this area. And what does it mean? For example, the West world celebrated Easter 2 days ago, but Russia and Ukraine, they are going to celebrate Easter this weekend, next weekend, on the 24th of April. And as you know, Russia and Ukraine is a very religious country. They respect these holidays and they celebrate these holidays every year. It's a very important part of their life. So that means that by the end of this week, by Friday, heavy clashes and battles in this area will go down. I mean that by the end of this week, Russia will announce, according to the Easter, they will announce some ceasefire periods of time. So this sprint is very short. And that's why they need to achieve as much as possible regarding this sprint. And the real battles, the real Donbass arc operation will be started next Monday. Because, as I told you, the end of this week is Easter. And according to Russian policy, according to their culture, they will have to reduce the clashes in the area, in the Ukraine, as much as they can, as much as Ukrainians will allow them to do this. And as we know, Ukrainians are also Orthodox, so we will see a small ceasefire period from Friday till Sunday. So what is the main targets for Russians on the first sprint? Of course, the most important area they're planning to capture is town named Liman. This town, Liman. We discussed this town many times, few times, that as assumed it was one of the most important area here. And as I told you, Russians are trying to attack this area from different directions. Yesterday we discussed that Russians attack from the north and they have captured a town named Kremenная. And from the very morning of today, we got information that there were already battles in this town. In town named Tarske. If we take a look at Russian map, you're gonna see that this town is under Russian. So this gray line is the new front line. This color of this area is not updated, but I assure you that tomorrow, day after, this territory will be colored into red color. That means that Russia has already captured these territories. And as soon as Ukrainian forces saw that they're losing this area, first they blow up this bridge, which according to their plan, this should stop Russian attack in this area. But there is one thing. If you take a look at this map, you see the town named Cherny and the area around this town is under Russians. This map is not updated. So this territory near Cherny is under Russians. So as soon as Ukrainians blow on this bridge, Russians there move their forces on this side of this water-like thing, and then move to the south and attack town named Zarechno from the north. You can see this on this map. that they're fighting here, and they have taken town in Torske. Ukrainian forces, they understand that it's a very critical situation, and they decided not to weigh the further things, how these things is going to update, and they destroyed one of the most important town in this area. They destroyed one of the most important bridges in this area, this one. So as far as I understand, Ukrainians, they understood that they will not be able to hold this territory for a very long time. During the day, Russians continue attack from the north, from this area, from this small island. So they were moving from the north to the south. And the latest info I got, they stopped somewhere near here. We can say that they're somewhere here. So they're moving from the north to the south, from the east to the west, and another operation they're doing on the west side of this background. They're moving from the town named Barovaya, from the Barova, to the south. We discussed also this area a lot of time. This is a very important area because if you remember, there's a railroad which leads from the north to the south to the small town Sosnovo, and if the Russians will be able to take this town, they will establish a railroad service connection between Izum and, we can say, with all Russia. So as a plan for the first sprint, this is very important targets, you understand, because now to start operation from Izum, it's possible, but without support supply, and the best way to support and supply this territory is using the railroad services. So Russians, they are moving here to the south, and according to the information, the latest information I got, they stopped, they moved to the south and they stopped in this area. So we can see that according to the first sprint, Russians, they need to capture territory. I will mark it in blue color. And they have almost completed their first sprint. I think that the second sprint will be started from attacking town named Liman. So by the end of this week, or they will be able to take this town, or they will be able to blockade this town from every side. And starting next week, they will start their operation against the heart of Donbass border through the Liman. So I'll repeat myself, Russians, they have almost captured all this territory. Another sprint we can discuss in this area. In this area, by the end of this week, Russians, they need to take town named Popasna. And this is the town where the second stage of this special Donbass arc operation started. Russians, they break through the defense, Ukrainian defense from the north. They drop here in this direction all their heavy armor tanks, and then they were trying to storm this town from the north. But as far as I see till today, all their attempt wasn't very successful. So we'll see what's going to be next. I don't have any information about Rubizhno and Severodonetsk. Ukrainian sources saying that Ukrainians they achieved success in this area. Russians says that they're successful in this area. So for now I can't tell you anything about this area. So we will see what's going to be next here. If we are saying about the Mariupol, of course, this sprint by the end of this week, they need to clear Azovstal region from Ukrainian forces. Today we got a lot of information from this area, and you need to understand one thing about the Azovstal. For example, Russian sources, they're saying that Azov soldiers, they're using the civilians as a life shield. And Azovstal, they're saying that there are a lot of civilians here, and they were asking Russians stop bombing this area. I'll explain one thing. You need to understand that when the Russians they start their storm operation of Mariupol, of course they were bombing the suburbs. They were starting from the suburbs of this town, and of course Ukrainian civilians they couldn't pass this area, they couldn't run away from this town. So of course, while Russians were storming suburbs, civilians from this town, from suburbs, they were moving to the Azovstal area, and they found there their new home. They were waiting. They were there under shell, so they were waiting when this operation ends. But the circle around the Mariupol was less and less every day. And today we see that the only one place that is under Ukrainian control is this Azovstal area. And I think that there are a lot of civilians there. There are a lot of civilians who were searching for help and searching for a place where they can hide from the suburbs when the Russians were there. So it's like logical. And today Russians, they announced about the ceasefire for some period, and they allowed civilians to leave this territory. And according to information we got, only around 100 civilians left Azovstal. Nobody knows how much exactly civilians are there. So we'll see what's going to be next. Another very important area in Donbass border is this area. I think there is no need to explain you the importance of this area. The picture in front of you says for itself. You see how many bombings, and Russians, they're trying to attack this area with the wide front line. This territory is mainly farms, fields, so it's very easy to use tanks and armored vehicles in wide front line. We can calculate the front line here is around 50 kilometers. So from all this area, Russians are moving to the north. As far as they can see, they're bombing this area. They're bombing towns because Ukrainian forces, they have a small fortified area here in each town. And of course, they're bombing this area just for one thing. They're not allowing forces in this area to attack Russians to the flanks. So the Russians, they are very easily moving to the northwest to town named Pokrovsk. So for this sprint, the main target of this front line of Russians in this front line is to capture this background. This will allow them to cut off road between Pokrovsk and the south of Donbass cauldron area. And that's it for today. Thank you for watching. Subscribe my channel and enjoy your day.